Hello, everyone. Welcome to my video on the conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. My name is Laura, and I'm an astrologer that uses the tropical zodiac with Vedic and Western techniques. And I will be using the constellational zodiac in this video as well. Okay, not the sidereal zodiac you think of when you think of Vedic astrology, or the one that's usually used in Indian astrology, but this is the constellations in the sky as they are seen in the sky, and some of them are much bigger than 30 degrees of the ecliptic, and some are much smaller than that. This has to do with where Neptune is placed within a constellation and what part of that constellation Neptune occupies. All right, so I'll be talking about that quite a bit, and that's very important because outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are planets of consciousness, and they are transpersonal planets. And the constellations do show transpersonal themes. They are not as linked to our personal life as the regular tropical zodiac or the starless zodiac, okay? So, but when you have a constellation or an outer planet conjoined a personal planet, the sun through Saturn, in a constellation or in a certain part of a constellation, that will definitely activate some very strong themes in the life. And especially in transit, that will activate something incredibly overwhelming in the house placement it falls within in your chart, which I will also talk about in this video. So Neptune represents the very strong desire to merge with something, to transcend the mundane and merge with something higher and greater. It's also very much linked to divine yearning and to idealizing something, to refining and purifying something, and to a certain romanticization around something or someone or some type of concept. Neptune has a reputation of dreams, of disappointments because of disillusionment, of escapism. And the reason it has that reputation is because we have such a high ideal where Neptune is. Of course, when you want to merge with something, you want to merge with something greater, something that's going to give you a feeling of bliss, something that will raise you to another level or raise your consciousness to another level. And so you have all of these ideas about what that is supposed to be. But when you actually encounter something and you're not getting that feeling, obviously you'll have some disappointment around it and feel disillusioned with it. And then you can also have an addiction around where Neptune is as well, and have an escapist tendency. Now, I'm here to tell you that Neptune is a wonderful planet if you know how to use it correctly. That is because Neptune requires effort. Neptune requires maturization of something, okay? Taking something in its beginning stages and putting effort into it to develop it to its fullest and best expression. That way, you can realize your ideals. It might not be exactly what you were thinking it would be, but you will mature it into something beautiful and wonderful. Neptune is very much a long-term planet. It takes something, and over a very long period of time, it grows that thing in your life. And sometimes it will grow it in a way that you're not expecting, or that your ideas about it were not met or were not fulfilled, but it still grows it into something that is better than what it started out as, or it is more mature. So there is effort involved. A lot of people do not believe that there is effort involved in Neptune. There is effort involved in Neptune, because with the effort that we put into something over a long period of time, we grow it into something that is highly satisfying. And that can help us reach transcendence with that thing, or be able to merge with it in certain ways. For example, if you have a Venus-Neptune conjunction, you can idealize romantic love, all right? And nothing ever seems to fill that void. There can be some addiction around that. But the reason that you don't reach that ideal is because the lack of effort, usually that's put into that, or some type of rigid idea or concept about what Venus is supposed to provide. So, having said that, Jupiter is in Pisces now. Okay, Jupiter just went direct. And Jupiter is conjoined Neptune in the zodiac. Jupiter is a slow-moving planet. So, and Jupiter, of course, is a very important planet. It's the great benefic. Jupiter rules Pisces, and Western astrologers have assigned the rulership of Neptune to Pisces. I actually do not agree with that. I go with the traditional rulerships, just because in my system, or the system that I use, the zodiac is also an inner zodiac, which reflects the chakras, the masculine and feminine sides of the chakras, and each planet rules a chakra, okay? And so those manifestations that happen on the inside are reflected in the outside world. So the sign of Sagittarius in Pisces is the masculine and feminine energies of the Swadhisthana chakra. And that's why I use the traditional rulerships, and I think that they work beautifully that way. There's also, a whole system, Jaimini astrology, based on signs and rulerships, and that's also in Parashara. So I do not use Neptune as the ruler of Pisces, but I will say that it has a lot of connotations of the sign of Pisces. Neptune was discovered in 1848 or 1846. I think it was 1846. And that was the height of the Romantic movement. There was a heightened interest in Romanticism, but also occult practices and paganism. So Jupiter being conjunct Neptune right now, and will be until Jupiter leaves the sign of Pisces, which will be December 20th, there is a certain idealization around philosophical concepts, philosophical beliefs and values, around teachers and higher education, also around creative intelligence or creativity. There's an idealization, wealth, and what it can do for you. The Jupiterian type of wealth is a wealth that allows you freedom to pursue your creative ambitions. It's not wealth just to sit around and enjoy luxuries, which is more like Venetian wealth, okay? But during this time, Neptune transforms a lot of the Jupiterian significations in the world, which is around religion. It's actually improving upon religious expression or spiritual expression, philosophical expression, a purpose, okay? Jupiter is our purpose, and our purpose is who is expressing who we uniquely and naturally are through our creative intelligence. Now, this conjunction also happens in the last decans, or in the last drekkana of Pisces. And the slow-moving planets, the drekkanas, become very important. So the symbolism of this drekkana is a man encircled by a snake. So this is a serpent drekkana, which I'll explain in a minute. And he has dug a hole in the earth and is hiding in that hole and is crying because he's afraid of fire and thieves. So this symbolism is highly significant in this conjunction. Fire and thieves, fire usually means war in some type of way, fire from the sky. Thieves can be, regular thieves, but it can also be war as well, the invasion of a country. And it can also be taxes or taxing, or just taking away the money from somebody, or taking their livelihood for no good reason, right? Or being deceitful in taking their money through taxes, because The serpent, drekkanas, and serpents in general indicate the ability to recognize deceit. And the ability to recognize deceit and being deceived indicates that there is deception there. This conjunction has themes of deception through the religious practices, the philosophical values, and also through wealth and money and material resources. Now, the man is hiding in the earth, and he dug a hole in the earth, and that is very much connected to the fourth house, but it's also the earth protecting us, going back to the earth, going back to something that is more, well, I want to say going back, because you never left the earth, but it's having the earth protect you, having something more natural protect you, maybe a natural way of life. But you can kind of understand the essence of what this drekkana symbolism is trying to express. There can be a certain element of paranoia around wealth and money matters. Neptune remains in this drekkana until March 30th of 2025. It will give a lot of idealism about returning to the earth, or returning to a natural way of life, to get away from some fears. Okay, some fears around losing wealth, or fears around being attacked. Now, with Jupiter there, which will last for a little less than a month, this will involve religious practices and religious values and belief systems, also banks, because Jupiter rules banks, wealth and financial system. Mercury within that system rules the exchange or the currencies, but Jupiter rules that system as a whole. All right. But there is a desire to improve these things, to make these things better, to refine them, to enhance them, all right, to reach a certain ideal around these financial matters. That also applies to the legacy, or the younger generations, the children, because that's what Jupiter rules. Jupiter rules children. That can also come into your own personal life as well. You can have some paranoia and fears around children and their future, as far as the having wealth taken away from them, or having some of their future taken away from them, being attacked in some way. The world is violent. Okay, so that's prevalent to what's happening right now, and that is the influence of this drekkana, having an outer planet in this drekkana, but Jupiter for the next month as well. So that is a very powerful indication. So in the constellations, Neptune is at the beginning of the fish constellation, the two fishes. So it's in the head of the fish, where all the mouth and the eyes are. Okay, and the gills are behind. They're not in the front, but they're on the sides. And so that is very important. That is extremely relevant to how Neptune will express the energy of improvement, the energy of maturation, trying to manifest something in its highest expression, okay, of idealism. So the fishes symbolize our connection to the unconscious or the subconscious. Water, and especially the ocean, is the waters of consciousness. All right, all of consciousness, but especially the subconscious and the unconscious, what we can't see or what isn't obvious. The face of anything, the face of an animal, is where all the senses are, where we take in the phenomenal world, where we understand where we need to get our needs met. The Neptune being there right now in this time, and Neptune will it will be a while before Neptune moves out of the entire constellation of the fishes, because remember that goes back about 24 degrees or so. But being right now, Neptune being in the face of the fish has to do with our intuition, and very much has to do with how our intuition and how following our, or trying to improve upon our deep emotional life will get our needs met in the outside world, especially our emotional needs. It's very much a reliance upon intuition because there's a lot of deception happening in the outside world. And the fishes represent the ability to merge, and because they can merge with something, the water, the ocean, they can know it. They can know it in a way that cannot be expressed. They just sense it. But this emotion, this intuition that we have is important for us to get our needs met. When I say our needs met, that means get the food we need, get the shelter we need, get the material needs met. Because that's what our senses are designed to do. We see something we want, we go for it. We taste something that's good, that's what we want to eat, right? We hear some beautiful music, or we hear music that's grating, that makes us anxious. We don't want to hear that. So through our senses, we navigate the world, but the senses are very much connected to the intuition in this position of Neptune. And with Jupiter there, the intuition connected to the senses to get our needs met will be expressed through our value and belief system, will be expressed through acquiring financial and material resources so that we can express our creative selves, not to enjoy ourselves, but to be able to improve the world in a way that gives inspiration. Okay, the joy that comes from wisdom, that is Jupiter. So what is happening in Iran right now, that is a really good example of how this is manifesting. They're following their intuition and how they want the religion to be expressed in order to meet their needs. That's just one example that I can think of. This is also will be very important in your individual chart, and I'll explain how that works. This is a very powerful conjunction. This is going to facilitate more and more people relying on their own intuition, because the outside world is not providing what they need emotionally and physically. So in individual charts, now, if your ascendant, if your rising sign falls in the sign of Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, then this conjunction is incredibly powerful for your own inspiration, for following your inspiration, growing that inspiration, especially around your creative abilities, and especially around your teachers and mentors. This can also incorporate higher education. So if you are in college, university, you're getting your master's, you're getting your PhD, whatever it is, this is incredibly inspiring, and it's a long-term aspect of your life. Okay, it's going to last a very long time. Neptune is a long-term planet. If your ascendant is Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, so the fire signs, this conjunction happens in your moksha house. It happens in a liberation house or a water house. It happens in the 12th, the 8th, or the 4th, or the 4th, 8th, or 12th. Okay, so for an Aries, it'll be in the 12th. For Leo, it will be in the 8th. And for Sagittarius, it'll be in the 4th. Those are moksha houses, houses of total freedom, meaning they're houses of happiness, basically. So that means that will activate the more esoteric side of Jupiter, the secret knowledge, the hidden knowledge side of Jupiter. You'll understand the meaning of your life. Okay, you'll understand what it is that you need to let go of, what it is that drives you to sabotage yourself, 8th house, okay, and what it is that gives you a strong emotional foundation or emotional security. all right, for a Sagittarius. To let go of things, to understand what it is that, what kind of state of consciousness you can reach, and how you can let go of false concepts and ideas, especially around religion and belief systems, especially around spiritual teachers, okay? That's an Aries. And again, this will be very long-term, a long-term effect in your life. If your ascendant is the air sign, so Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, it will activate the long-term effects of wealth and material and financial resources, because this happens in your wealth houses. So for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, for Gemini, this happens in your 10th house, which is your career and your worldly responsibilities, your reputation, the actions you're known for, okay, doing things in the world. This Jupiter-Neptune conjunction will be a long-term effect on your career, opportunities in your career, and opportunities to exert your power and influence. It'll also have you move towards a career long-term that you will prosper in materially and financially. For a Libra, this has to do also kind of with the career, but it more has to do with your expenses and your debt, getting out of debt, finding a way to pay off your debt, invest your money, and, you make a plan, and like a business plan or a financial plan, and follow that plan to the T. It's also about getting really inspired to be creative with your health and ways of healing and getting healthier. But it also is a wealth house, the 6th house, which is where this is happening. This is whole sign houses. The 6th house is a house of wealth because it is an earth house. So it's a house of material prosperity, and that usually is through your work ethic, how you're going to manage your time, how you're going to put yourself to work, what work you want to do and what work is not necessary. You're going to figure those things out, and it's very beneficial, and it's long term. Then we have so that was Libra. Then we have Aquarius. Aquarius, this happens in your 2nd house, which is a big wealth house. It's all of your possessions, your material possessions, and all the money in the bank, all your investments, everything you own. That's the 2nd house. So Jupiter here gives more of an emphasis on material and financial responsibilities. This usually provides a long-term opportunity to grow your wealth, okay? And in a way that you're idealizing, but if you put effort into it, you won't be disappointed. It might give you something that you're not expecting or is different than what you envision, but it's still a really nice outcome, okay? Especially when you put the effort in. Now for the earth signs. The earth signs Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This conjunction of Neptune and Jupiter happens in your air houses, okay? In the houses of making connections, emotional connections, dealing with people, social activities, dealing with the public, communication, business. So for Taurus, this happens in your 11th house of gains from your career. This is a wealth house, or, gaining something. It can be a salary, more money from your career, or it can be recognition and respect. Okay. Social activities, being invited to more social activities, growing your social network, getting opportunities from your social network, satisfying long-term goals and long-term desires. All right, the 11th house for a Taurus. But you do that, you satisfy those long-term desires through the opportunities that come through your social network, and they're very long-term. What the opportunities you get now are long-term. Then Virgo, this happens in the 7th house, which is your partner. If you're not in a relationship, it's finding a relationship or getting into a relationship. It's very possible that could happen. And this relationship will be long-term or highly idealized, but it's something that you have to work on. Okay, something you have to put effort forth. And if you do that, the disillusionment won't be there. It is a time of, kind of starry-eyed around partner or romantic relationships. Now, if it's not romantic relationships, then it will have to do with just dealing with the public and dealing with other people in general, being social. Also, your popularity. The seventh house is your popularity, being sociable with people. It's also business. If you have a business, usually you'll grow your business quite significantly, and this growth is long-term. And you won't be disillusioned the more effort you put in, okay? A Capricorn is, this happens in the third house of mild competition, self-effort, investigation, trial and error, experimentation with different things, okay? But it also has to do with your associates, dealing with people that are in your life that aren't necessarily your friends, but you associate with them, okay? And competing with them. It has to do with your subordinates, anybody, beneath you, or, that you are the boss over, basically. People you hire to do jobs for you. This conjunction gives a lot of opportunities in those areas. It's also a secondary house of wealth, and usually because, you can get some type of money coming in from different sources, like different income streams. That can be the third house. It's also a house of self-effort, self-promotion, and if you're an artist, it's the house of art, all right, or art or performing art. So this can be a long-term opportunity in artistic endeavors. And especially you'll have something very highly idealized about it. It's necessary to put in that effort to realize those ideals. Otherwise, disillusionment can set in. But the effort put forth will bring you something that you might not have envisioned, but you'll be very happy with it. So those are the predictions for this wonderful conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. Thank you for watching. Bye.